Go. This could decide the game.
4th and goal. And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Inability as well. Turnover, though, by Boston. Now Simmons in transition. What a pass to MB! My goodness! Posterizes Baines and the foul!
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! Struck him out! The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. As always, I am your host, Dylan Davis. You can give me a follow on Twitter at DylanJD98. And alongside me is my co-host, as always, my guy Gint. Give him a follow on Twitter at Matt_McGinty. And the Phaithful Phanatics is brought to you by DSM Media. So if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit that follow button on Twitter at DSM_media. Big show today as it is draft night in the NBA, and we have a very special guest entering the studio now, Mr. Carlin from Sixers Wire and USA Today. Sixers beat reporter Carlin. Give him a follow on Twitter at @Carlin. Kai, how is it going? And thank you for joining us for a second straight NBA draft here on the Phaithful Phanatics.
No, I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on. So definitely happy to talk some Sixers for a little while. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. But before we get into the Sixers, I don't know why I think this or possibly remember this, but are you a Pistons fan? Or you like the Pistons?
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, so originally. So
okay, see, I knew I remembered that from somewhere on social media on Twitter. So let's start there. Number 1 overall pick tonight. Woj is already ruining the draft as if everyone didn't know what was going on. But from a Detroit kid himself, how excited are you for Cade Cunningham to be a Detroit Piston?
Well, I mean, Detroit needs talent in the worst way possible right now. So, I mean, Cunningham was the clear-cut choice for me all along. It was never Jalen Green or Evan Mobley for me. It was just straight up just get Cunningham and call it a day. And now you're going to add what I think can be a future, multi-time all-star to a team that already has, some type of base there with Killian Hayes, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant had a really good year, Isaiah Stewart. They got a veteran there in Mason Plumlee. So, you bring in a guy like Cunningham, a guy that can kind of reinvigorate the franchise, get some interest in the team a little bit. And then, the Pistons can move forward from there. So Cunningham was just kind of the clear-cut number 1 choice for me from the beginning.
So did you ever buy into the whole Detroit, the rumors last week or a couple weeks ago that Detroit, wasn't set on Cade?
No, because it kind of reminded me of when Philadelphia had the number 1 pick and in 2016, and there was like some rumor going around that maybe they won't draft Ben Simmons, and I was just like, stop! It's going to be. So it's just like when you have a clear-cut consensus number 1 pick like this, like all these random rumors that kind of come from here or there, it's just like, no, stop! It's going to be this guy. We all know it, and that's just going to kind of be the end-all, be-all.
Right.
So last year when you had you on, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and James Wiseman were kind of the tier above the rest, and we're kind of seeing something like that tonight with Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Green. Do you think the trio in this draft can outperform that trio, even though Wiseman kind of got hurt? But in the long run, which trio do you kind of see being better in the NBA?
In the long run, I mean, I think Cunningham can be an all-star like within his first 3-5 years in the league. Like that's just kind of how I really see that kid, whether he was going to go to Detroit or not. Cunningham was just kind of, to me, just screamed multi-time all-star rather quickly. Like I watched a lot of Oklahoma State this year, and I think that kid is going to be an absolute stud, like from the jump. And then when it comes to the other two, I think Jalen Green can be an athletic player. I think that he does need to add some other parts of his game, but I mean, he clearly can be a very good player in this league as well. And there is another one. I'm sorry, Wojnarowski just tweeted that the Lakers are actually about to acquire Buddy Hield.
Wow.
Yeah, the Lakers are actually going to send Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell to the Sacramento Kings for Buddy Hield. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that distracted me a little.
No.
But Evan Mobley, I think, can be a very good player in this league as well. The thing is, though, it's going to be just. I think Cunningham can just be a stud. I thought Anthony Edwards actually performed better than I thought he would initially for Minnesota. I thought Edwards was going to be the number 1 pick last year as well for Minnesota, but I thought Edwards would have needed some time to kind of become, a really good starter in this league. And I thought he did. He actually performed much better, obviously, as the season went on. His play after the All-Star break was a lot of fun to watch. We also have LaMelo Ball. That kid is absolutely incredible. I think Wiseman is a guy who also still has potential despite him getting hurt. In the long run, I think I would probably take this 2021 draft. But at the same time, though, we don't really know what these guys can do yet because we haven't seen them play an NBA game. But if we're gonna play hypotheticals, then I would probably say this 2021 draft just because of Cunningham, honestly.
All right. Speaking of go ahead.
My fault, Dylan. Is there anyone that could jump into the top 3 over them, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I know Toronto is zeroing in on Jalen Suggs at the number 4 pick. So, that's going to be another one. I think Suggs isn't better than Green or Mobley, especially I think Green's a perfect fit for the Rockets. And then Cleveland, the Cavaliers are another team that just really needs some talent. I think Mobley kind of does fit the Cavaliers right now because they really don't have any size. I know they got Larry Nance Jr. and everything, but they're probably going to trade him this offseason. So, yeah, I do believe that Mobley fits whatever the Cavaliers are trying to do right now.
All right. Speaking of this class, and we're talking about the top 3, top 5 here. It feels like to me, I don't know about you guys, but this draft just snuck up on me so quickly. I haven't had time to prepare for it. Kai, how deep is this draft? Or even for people that don't follow college basketball all that well, is it top heavy? Is there good value in the late first round, early second rounds? How deep is this class really?
This is definitely a shallow class. I wouldn't call it deep. It's top heavy, but that's also I also feel like we say that about every
year.
Draft. Yeah, it's the same every year because listen, you're going to get your studs in the top 10. Actually, I'll say your studs in the top 5. You'll get your rotational players from 5 to about 15, and then from 15 on, man, it's at that point you got to do your homework. You got to be able to understand how these guys fit into your plan. You got to you're pretty much banking on potential at that point. For example, Philadelphia's got the 28th pick tonight. The 28th pick is not going to help you win a championship right now. And I've been saying this for a couple of weeks. Sixers should probably trade that pick because for a team like the Sixers who are trying to win a championship right now, and Joel Embiid, as he's beginning to enter his prime, you trade that 28th pick for a guy who can help you win a title right now. The 28th pick isn't going to help you win a title. To be honest with you, I think the Sixers have gotten lucky over the past couple of drafts because Maxey was picked 21st. You don't normally get a rotational player at 21. And to be honest with you, the only reason why Maxey even slid last year is because of the concerns over his shot at Kentucky. Thybulle's another one. Thybulle was picked 20th. You don't find a rotational player at 20. And, Thybulle has been able to continue to add to his game, and he's a rotational player. 28 is 7 to 8 picks down the line. Again, you're not just, I feel like if you're Philadelphia right now, it would definitely be more beneficial to trade that pick and maybe hit up the Orlando Magic and be like, listen, you guys are rebuilding. You guys finally realize you're not good enough. Give me Terrence Ross and you can take this pick and continue to rebuild. And that's not a report. That's just a gut feeling that I feel like that they should do. But I feel like heading into this draft, it's the same thing every year. It's always top heavy. And then as the picks go on, you really have to do your homework and figure out how this player is going to fit into your team for the future.
Yeah, that kind of really answered our next question. We were going to ask you, kind of what do you think the Sixers will do tonight? So you kind of said what they should do. is move on from that 28th pick. And I remember last year we didn't really think they were going to keep that first pick. We lost Ginn for a second. His power's been going in and out. So what do you think they will do? What's your gut feeling that Daryl Morey will do with this 28th pick?
I think he will trade it. I think I probably said something similar last year when we did this before the 2020 draft. But the reason why I'm so the Nets are trading Landry Shamet to the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, Carlin is dropping bombs here on the Phaithful Fanatic shows. I'm not on social media.
You know, good old Woj, the Suns.
Yeah.
Landry Shamet to the Suns for Javon Carter in the 29th pick in tonight's draft. So, wow, Landry Shamet getting traded again. The fact that Landry Shamet's been traded so many times in his career bothers me because that kid is a good player. Just upsetting. Anywho, the reason why I feel like Philadelphia is going to trade this pick much more tonight than I did last year is because this team was the number one seed this year. Obviously they came up short. They lost at home in that game 7 to a number 5 seed. But the point is they were the number 1 seed. They've been able to get things going in the right direction under Doc. So I feel like at this point, like you should be focusing absolutely much more on winning a championship right now than bringing in another rookie who you're going to have to develop. So the way I see it is, again, I would hit up Orlando. I really would. I would hit up Orlando and be like, what would it take to get Terrence Ross off your hands? Because Ross would be a huge guy, in my opinion, who would come in here and provide just a huge offensive spark for Philadelphia, the same way he does for Orlando. And I feel like it's going to be just a really huge thing if they can get a veteran win now type of player rather than bringing in another rookie who you're going to have to develop. Now at picks 50 and 53, the pick the Sixers acquired earlier, maybe they make one selection out of those. But I really don't think we're going to see Philadelphia actually keep their picks tonight. Maybe one of them, but we'll see what happens.
See, I'm glad you say that because I view, draft picks kind of the same as you do. They're more so assets than anything. It's a lottery. It's really what it is, especially these late first-round draft picks. And I feel like Terrence Ross at the trade deadline or like the buyout market, he was a name thrown out there for Philly to go and get a lot. And I wasn't sure what his value was. Like at the time, I wondered if the Sixers gave up this year's first-round draft pick, if fans would have been in for it or if fans would have been up in arms. And I feel like fans just hear first-round draft picks and they don't want it. Like a Terrence Ross, like he's not worth a first-round draft pick. But like you said, the 28th draft pick, what are you really getting there to win now? Terrence Ross can help you win now. But, shifting gears, kind of away from the draft, but draft night in itself. The big topic today, talks have heated up on the Ben Simmons front. What are the odds that today is the last day that Ben Simmons is a Philadelphia 76er, in your opinion?
I'm not really sure. I don't think Simmons will be here opening night. I mean, I said that legit as soon as he passed up the dunk in Game 7. I legit said this is going to be his last game here. I promise you that. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that he's done here. I don't know if it's going to be tonight, but I don't think he's going to be here on opening night. I feel like he would be much better off with a change of scenery at this moment. And that's not to say that Ben is a bad player. I truly believe Ben Simmons is a top 25 player. I will die on that hill. I had him ranked in the top 15 before the season started. It's dropped because of that performance, but he's still a very, very talented player. I think Ben does so many great things out on the floor, setting up teammates. Obviously, the defense is elite. At 6'10", he can handle the ball. He's got great vision. He's so skilled. But I truly believe that he would just be much better off somewhere else. I feel like his time in Philadelphia has ran its course. There's a lot of pressure for him to win here right now and to kind of get over those mental blocks and get over those mental humps now rather than, have the team wait on him. Because listen, at this point, I don't want people taking this the wrong way, but I feel like Joel Embiid's beginning to enter his prime, right? He's 27, he's going to be 28 soon. Joel's prime, in my opinion, is probably going to be a lot shorter than other stars' primes because of all the injuries that he has taken on his body. So now that Joel is such a dominant force right now, you have to take advantage of it because I don't really know how long he's going to be playing at this MVP type level. So I look at it and I feel like the Sixers should do everything they can to possibly win right now. Can Ben Simmons win right now? Maybe, but no, because his past postseason performances, this isn't becoming just a one-time thing. We saw it in 2018. We saw it in 2019. we probably would have saw it in 2022, and we saw it in 2021. So it's just one of those things to where I feel like maybe the team should just kind of move forward with trying to get a win now type of player.
Do you think Ben and Joel's relationship is fractured beyond repair?
No. Listen, don't read into that. Don't read into that. Listen, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are not hanging out every day, but they don't have to. They're not hitting each other up like, "Hey, bro, what you doing? You trying to go to the bar?" Like, no, that's not their relationship. But Ben and Joel don't hate each other, and that has been the most annoying thing about the Ben and Joel pairing over the past, how long has it been? 4 years that they've been together. Like that has been the most annoying thing. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. They don't like being around each other. No, stop. So these guys aren't best friends. I don't want anybody getting the wrong idea here. They're not best friends. But I mean, dude, they don't hate each other. That relationship on the court, the relationship in the locker room is fine. They're good. Like it's the dumbest narrative to me. It's probably one of the dumbest things I've heard. Like during the Ben and Joel era.
So before I get to my final question for you, Kai, and that kind of goes more towards the Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal superstar kind of move. You just said that Buddy Hield's on his way to the Lakers. Would you, and you kind of already touched on the fact that you think Ben needs to change the scenery, the Sixers kind of need to move forward. Would you have done, the supposed move of a Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley kind of package, anything like that? Like, is that something you're interested in? Because to me, that doesn't push the Sixers or Joel Embiid closer to a championship. That makes the Sixers different, but that doesn't make the Sixers better. So would you have done any type of package like that outside of getting like a superstar back for Ben?
Hold on. Lakers are about to acquire Russell Westbrook.
Jesus.
Yeah, Shams is reporting the Lakers and Wizards are engaged on a trade that will send Russell Westbrook to LA. So I'm so sorry that I did not hear your question.
No, you're good. I saw you looking down, and I wasn't sure if it was kind of at the question or at this. So okay, so does that mean is Buddy Hield staying in LA? Is Buddy Hield on the move to Washington?
I'm not sure because it says because Woj just tweeted that Kuzma and Harrell are going to Sacramento for Hield, but then Shams just tweeted that Harrell and Kuzma are going to Washington for Westbrook. So
and KCP it says here.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I guess we'll have to see like the official word on both of those deals.
Okay, so my last question, my question before I get to my final one is, we just talked about the Buddy Hield move, and that was kind of a package thrown out there for an idea for Ben from Sacramento was Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. And, fans in the city, would have said yes because they're just so tired of Ben. They just want Ben out regardless of the package. You talked about how Ben needs to change the scenery. The Sixers probably need to move on. In my mind, a deal like that makes the Sixers different. It doesn't make the Sixers better, or it doesn't push them and Joel Embiid closer to winning a title. Would you have done like a type of deal like that, a Marvin Bagley and Buddy Hield type deal, or do you need a superstar that everyone's coveting back for Ben?
I wouldn't have traded Ben for Buddy, and it's because if I were to trade for Buddy, I would have kept Ben. Like that's my thing. Like that's the only way I would trade for Buddy, because it's like Buddy would be the perfect fit next to Ben because he's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and Ben does a terrific job of assisting out on 3-point shots. So, like if I would have traded for Hield, if I was Daryl Morey and I'm Philadelphia, I am only doing it if I'm keeping Simmons, which I don't think they're going to do. So, but no, I wouldn't have traded Ben for Buddy just because Buddy is a guy who. He's a spot up shooter. Like let's be real, that's what he does. He's not a shot creator. He has an ability to put the ball on the floor, but he's not a break down the defense type of guy, knock down a tough jump shot 3 seconds left on shot clock type of guy. That's not that is not his game. So I look at Hield, and the only way I would have acquired him if I was Philadelphia is if I would have kept Ben, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Ben is going to be traded either tonight or at some point before training camp in September. So that's just how I would have seen it. Now, when it comes to Ben's value was so hard to really gauge because he's such a good player, but his playoff performances have been so erratic and so up and down to where it's just like, how do you really value what this guy is worth in terms of a trade? Now, Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquirer reported that the Sixers tried sending Ben to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, and picks 17 and 14. The Warriors said no. They also tried sending Ben to San Antonio for like 4 first-round picks and I think another player or two. San Antonio also said no. And then obviously I think everybody saw the report of him going to Toronto for Van Vliet, Lowry, and a sign and trade, OG Anunoby, and the number 4 pick. And again, Toronto also said no. So I think that what that says is that the rest of the league doesn't exactly value Simmons the way the Sixers do. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But it's clear that Daryl is going to have to kind of come down in terms of his asking price for Simmons, and I do believe that it will happen before next season begins.
All right, I'm glad you said that because it leads into my final question. Obviously, our eyes go to the Dames, the Bradley Beals when thinking of moving Ben. And when you hear the rumors of Morey asking, you just laid him out, the Golden State offer, the Toronto package, the first-round picks, these young assets, it catches my eye because that doesn't really add up with trying to find Joel Embiid's Robin. There's a Batman joke for you, Kai. I know you're a big Batman fan over here, but
and worst superhero of all time.
But it doesn't really go with trying to find Joel Embiid a second guy to win now. So how likely is it that, you just said maybe the league doesn't view Ben like that. How likely is it that Daryl Morey knows Ben can't headline a deal for a star like Dame or Bradley Beal? So he's trying to he's trying to make a deal for all these future assets, for all these picks, young players, and flip those as potential, headliners for a Dame or Bradley Beal package.
I feel like that could probably do it because, you can always flip those young assets. I mean, I feel like it's why. I feel like it's why they acquired the 53rd pick in tonight's draft from the Pelicans. I feel like they're not going to keep that pick. They might flip it somewhere else. A 53rd pick isn't going to get to Beal or Dame. But
No.
I mean, like the point is though, it's like they can flip that in like another deal. So it kind of be something similar to maybe Ben to Toronto, bunch of draft picks. Here, take it. We want Bradley Beal or Dame Lillard. I feel like Ben could headline a deal for Beal just because Washington is a team that I think they realized they're really not that good. They started 17 and 32 this year. Hell of a run. Made it to the playoffs. Russ and Bradley Beal, great job. You guys really put that team on your back. And they I feel like they gave the Sixers a bit of a battle. Even though Philadelphia won in 5 games, I feel like Washington was in a lot of those games. And then obviously they won game 4. But I think Washington realizes that we need to blow this thing up and we need to start over again. So I would maybe if I'm Washington, I would consider Ben for Brad Beal because Ben's 25. He just turned 25 too, I think last week. So you can bring him in and team him up with guys like Rui Hachimura and Davis Bertans and this year's pick for the Wizards and just really try to grow your team and move forward. So I would consider that if I'm Washington. If I'm Portland, I'm not really sure if I'm giving up Dame for Ben. And I think that's where moving a pick and then all the assets to your Portland would probably be the move for that one.
Good.
So let me ask you this because obviously we just saw Russ is on the move, supposedly. It's not official yet. And then you saw the package we offered for Ben. If you were the Wizards, would you take the package that the Warriors compiled that the Sixers wanted, or would you take a package with Ben involved to give up Beal?
What do you mean, like Warriors and Beal?
So if the Warriors were to give up Wiggins, Wiseman, 7 and 14, would you take that package, or would you take a package of Ben, 28, maybe Maxey or Thibault, throw one of them in there as well?
Oh, for Beal. I think I would take Philly's package again, just because Ben is so good already at 25. I mean, listen, there's going to be one GM out there that's going to believe I can fix Ben Simmons. There's going to be one GM out there that believes they can do it. So I don't think Daryl. I think Daryl Morey is a guy who believes he can fix Ben Simmons too, and Doc Rivers. But Daryl also believes that I'm trying to win right now, and I'm not really in the mood to try to get you back in, to help us win a title right now. So yeah, if I'm the Wizards, I'd probably do the Ben deal and get Ben, Tyrese, or Matisse. I don't think Philly would give up both. Especially if you're going to give up Ben, you'd have to keep Matisse just because you would need some defensive acumen without him. So either one of those two, throw in a pick or the 28 pick or something. If I'm Washington, I would probably do that one because I'm not a big Andrew Wiggins guy. Like to me, Wiggins kind of reminds me of the perimeter version of Andre Drummond. He's a guy who'll put up a bunch of numbers, but he won't exactly affect winning. So it's like he's fun to watch, but like he doesn't really affect winning. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on Wiggins. So.
All right, guys, go give the man a follow if you haven't already on Twitter at Kai_Carlin, Sixers beat writer for Sixers Wired and USA Today. Kai, thank you so much for joining the show, and go enjoy draft night, dude. Go tweet out all these moves that you couldn't yet because you're on our show that Woj is tweeting about.
No, absolutely not. So thank you guys a lot for having me on. Dylan, Matt, you guys are great. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thanks, Kai. Kai Carlin, everyone. Gint, before we move on to the last segment of today's show, anything that stuck out? Or hell, let's talk about the Russ on the move to LA. All these Jesus. We've been on live for 26 minutes, and just like that, the league has already switched up on us, and the Lakers are trying to win another ring with LeBron.
They probably just became the favorites, right? Because it doesn't sound like Hield's on the move. It sounds like he's still in LA. So that means you have Russ, Hield, LeBron, AD.
No. Or you are right. Yeah.
So, I mean, they just became the favorites in the NBA, right? They have to be. That came out of nowhere.
Like, here's my beef with this, right? Not that I wanted Russell Westbrook. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? But really, this did it. Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Trez, and a 2021 first got you Russ? Really?
But to me, that's all right. We're shutting everything down. Kuz probably on his last year of his deal. Daryl, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he just opted in for one more year. So these guys are all probably expiring contracts. So they're completely tearing this thing down.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty said it. Brad has to want out now. Like,
I think he's going to Golden State tonight.
Do you?
Yeah. I just don't.
Oh, that's gross, bro.
But why would they want Ben on how many? I don't know how many years Wiggins has left on his contract.
I'm just talking about a Golden State future of this year of Steph, Clay, and Brad Beal is disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. So Wiggins is a free agent in 2023. It depends on who they honestly probably think would win them more games right now between Ben and Wiggins. I just don't.
So I don't know if it's officially completed. It's okay. Shams 4 minutes ago. Lakers and Wizards are in serious talks on a Russell Westbrook trade. So it's not finished yet. But my point is the package that I laid out there. Scotty, talk to me. Tony, talk to me. Gint, is that like? I know that people hate on Russell Westbrook a lot, and he hasn't won anything in his career. How's he going to go and be next to LeBron and AD and everything like that and be the third guy or whatever when he's an alpha? But like that did it. That package, like the Sixers, I know we didn't want Russell Westbrook on the Sixers, and he's not really the point guard you would want next to Joel Embiid, but like KCP, Trez, Kuzma, and a first got you Russell Westbrook. I'm missing. I have to be missing something. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
They should have got a lot more back for Russell Westbrook than that shitty package.
Yeah, I don't know. So KCP has Kuzma's on the books till 2024. Montrezl Harrell's off the books next year, and KCP is probably next year as well. So, like I said, they're probably So KCP has one more year as well. So I mean, dude, this is like a total just strip everything down and start from zero because that's not, like you said, that's not a good enough package for Russell Westbrook at all.
No, and Scotty could be right. Maybe there is a lack of a market for him, but they could have gotten one first round, not to mention one first round pick. You threw in Kuzma, who maybe he just needs a change of scenery, right? But Kuzma Kyle Kuzma.
I wanted the Sixers to flip 28 for Kuzma.
I would have done that, but you put the 20, just one pick for Kuzma, yeah. But you get what I'm saying here. Kuzma, KCP, Trez, and 1 first-round draft pick. Robert Covington went for 3 first-round draft picks.
No, yeah, I know. Dude, that came out of nowhere. I mean, dude,
and like you said, especially if LA's keeping Buddy Hield.
That's what I was about to say. If they're keeping Buddy Hield, they're a favorite to win the title immediately.
And they're keeping Drummond, correct?
He might be a free agent.
No, I don't. Maybe he is, but I know he wants to be back in LA. I don't know. Regardless, if you keep it would be Russ, Buddy, Bron, AD, and whatever you plug in.
Yeah, it could be anyone at that point.
Wow, dude! Already we are how many hours away from the draft starting, and already major moves going on around the league, and you just have to hope that the Sixers, do something, but don't force it. So, Scotty, I don't know if you were tuning in earlier when I said this, but to me, and I know how you feel about Ben, and you know how I feel now. I can't defend it anymore, but like, I still have my stance of I'm not just moving them to move them like a lot of fans do. I don't know how you run it back, but you don't just move them to move them. What?
I wonder how many Sixers fans would have took that package for Ben.
A lot, and I would have laughed in your face. I feel Sixers fans would have taken that package. They would have.
I think they're like, I have a kid. I've been texting this group all day about like yada yada, and he was like, "Oh my God, the Sixers really thought they could get that deal done for Ben." I said, "Oh, they might just be shooting for the stars." And the reply was, "Why don't they just flip him for Buddy Hield?" And I said, "Well, there goes that." I'm sure the Lakers will flip Buddy Hield for Ben Simmons right now.
There goes that sophisticated conversation I was looking to have, that sports debate there. But that's a horrible take. But all right, Gint, moving on. We can circle back around to this at the end of the show. But I do want to touch on a little bit of Eagles Day 2 training camp, the major notes that came out of camp today. I'll just run through them and, we can talk about it a little bit. The defensive line had a really good day today. Yesterday, Josh Sweat got first team reps over Derek Barnett. I think that the roles reversed there today. Fletcher Cox had a good day. They're moving Fletcher Cox all around the line, apparently. So that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. Brandon Brooks leaves practice with an injury. Oh, Jesus, it's starting already.
I saw that. What was that?
Apparently, it's not serious. They never thought it was serious. I think I saw a tweet that it's a hamstring, but it's not bad. So hopefully, keep him out for a couple of days, get him right, and he's back on the field. Jordan Mailata yesterday was a big talking point on the Phaithful Phanatics and training for 4 quarters with Phil Phaithful. Andre Dillard got the first go of it yesterday with the first team at left tackle. Jordan Mailata gets first team reps today. And apparently Dillard had a rough day today. So that battle is going to be going on all throughout training camp. The Hurts to Devonta Smith connection continues as, one of the biggest, words out of today's practice. One of the biggest takeaways was Jalen Hurts drops one in the bucket for a 40-yard CD pass to Devonta Smith. And one other thing I said, again, I know this is your boy, your future CFL running back here, but Miles Sanders, when asked about Kenny Gainwell, he thinks he's going to be a big part of the offense and talks about his pass catching abilities out of the backfield. And we know just, from hearing about it, how much Sirianni utilizes his running backs, especially in the pass game. Just something to keep an eye on. So what else did you hear throughout camp? Anything you want to touch on that I just ran down real quick?
No, I think the biggest thing to touch on is the Brandon Brooks thing, because you and I kind of talked about it a lot at the right side of that line this year, hoping they could not return to form as they were before, but just be the stable side of the line, not knowing really who's going to start at left tackle, Isaac Sayamalu being So that kind of hurts. Yeah, you kind of have to hope that it wasn't serious, like you said, but you don't just go whatever they called it, the tent or whatever it's called in training camp. So
yeah, he went under the tent and then he went inside. He never returned to practice, but you just have to hope that it's not serious.
Yeah, they probably just let him go for the day. So, but
it's something that we talked about yesterday, because health, obviously health on every team every single year is going to be a key component to success. You saw that with Tampa Bay last year. Think about how beat up the Chiefs' offensive line was, and in the Super Bowl game, and Tampa Bay was healthy. Luck, health, it all plays a role. But Brandon Brooks we talked about it. When that dude's healthy, you see the shape he's in still at this stage of his career. When he's healthy, he's one of the top 3 probably right guards in the entire National Football League. Definitely top 5. It's if he can stay healthy, if Lane Johnson can stay healthy. So already on day 2 to hear that he left practice early and went into the medical tent, it's definitely worrisome. Especially the fact that it's a lower body injury. Where have his previous injuries been? His Achilles and his ACL and etc. So the fact that it's his hamstring, maybe it's overcompensation for, I don't know. But hopefully it is not serious, and he and this offensive line, especially the right side, can remain healthy. The left tackle thing is going to intrigue me all throughout camp because I like it. I mean, give him an even shot. Yesterday, Dillard got the first go of it. Today, Jordan Mailata gets the first go of it with the first team. But if it's true, like you heard the rumors that Andre Dillard looks different, he sounds different, he put on all this muscle, dropped some pounds, blah blah blah, and apparently he got his ass handed to him today. I want to say by Derek Barnett. It could have been Josh Sweat, but I think Barnett gave him a hard time today with the second team. So I don't know. If you had a prediction right now, again, early in camp, who do you want to see starting? You want to see starting, not who you think. Who do you want to see starting at left tackle?
Hold on. Before I give you that, what was this Jordan Mailata $100 million thing? No? Okay.
No, it was an Australia. It's like verified. It's an NFL, like the NFL Australian Twitter account or whatever, put out an article, and it was like the headline of the tweet. I don't know where they got this information from, but like a bunch of people were like, oh, news to us. Like, he didn't even win the battle. He's a second-year guy who just started learning how to play football. Jordan Mailata is not sniffing a $100 million contract from the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll tell you that for damn sure.
I don't know.
And if he is, a discussion needs to be happening.
Yeah. But to get to your question, who I want to start, I'd probably say Mailata. I mean, even last year before Dillard got hurt, remember someone tweeted like, oh, what a huge blow. Dillard looked really good in camp. And I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Negandhi was like, Andre Dillard did not look good in camp this year.
Yeah.
So if he didn't look good then, he doesn't look good now. And he's coming off an injury, and Mailata looked good last season. I don't see the reason why. I mean, the only reason is if the puppet master is saying I drafted him in the first round, he gets the first go at this. So
the puppet master, I'm laying off of him just for this time being because he did have a sneaky good offseason, in my opinion. He filled some holes with some pretty good players. He saw the cornerback position with Steve Nelson. He goes out, gets Anthony Harris, Eric Wilson, goes up, gets Devonta Smith. And that's just the last thing I want to talk about is that Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, duo right now. Again, to see it so early in camp, I know that me and you were on the same page when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Everything on the field is TBD. I get why people are hopeful or excited for him. I'm excited to see it as well, but it's all TBD on the football field. But to have that connection from the college days at Alabama and then all the offseason workouts to show up on day 1 and day 2 of camp, the fact that Devonta Smith is leading the wide receiver drills. He's already wide receiver number 1. He's been here for 2 minutes. That it speaks volumes. And the fact that, I said it on yesterday's show, when things, when Wentz had to find someone, he always relied on Zach Ertz. When things broke down, he looked for Zach Ertz. I think that's what you're already seeing very early in camp is Jalen Hurts looking and finding Devonta Smith. And Devonta Smith getting to battle Darius Slay and Steve Nelson every single day of training camp is only going to make both sides of the line of scrimmage better. It's going to make him better. It's going to make those cornerbacks better every day at camp. And that's just something that I'm really excited to keep seeing. You're smirking. What are you smirking about?
I am excited. And I know I joke around with Jalen Hurts thing, but the 5-yard slant route clips I'm seeing, and it says Hurts to Smith with the eyes emojis, isn't doing it for me right now. I'm going to be honest.
No, I get it. The 40-yard bomb, I wish there was a video of that.
Video of that. Yeah.
I did send in a video from Hurts to Smith that I sent into our group chat earlier. That wasn't a 5-yard slant. That was one of the throws I want to see him get better at and progress. And the throw, it's one throw, one video. It looked good to me. I don't know if it was a 10-yard out or whatever, but those out routes, they're not easy throws to make. And he stepped into it and he delivered it on a rope right to Devonta Smith where only he could get it on the corner on his hip. So, those throws, the deep balls, that's where I want to see his accuracy continue to progress. The sideline throws. And, you just have to hope that this coaching staff and, the player development, that's the one thing that the previous regime wasn't good at, and a lot of people are saying this regime is good at. And Jonathan Gannon, I'm loving everything I'm hearing from the defensive side of the ball, and that's the biggest thing, right? Because I think me and you, even though we haven't bought into Jalen Hurts just yet, we know that this offense has the ability to put up points. We shared the opinion that this defense, before some of the signings, before the Ant Harris signing, before the Steve Nelson signing, this defense was going to get torched, right? Like I think that was our common, issue here. And from what I'm hearing, it's only training camp against day 2 against this Eagles offense. So who knows? But the fact that the defensive line, an aging veteran group, looks this good early, looks this energetic early. You have the back end now with a couple Pro Bowl talents, in my opinion, that helps the defensive line. The defensive line helps them, etc. I'm excited. And that wraps up my rant on Eagles camp day 2. Football is officially back. And now I have to kind of, switch my train of thought here back to the NBA when I just gotten over the Sixers, disaster at the end of the season. Now I got to flip back to the NBA for a couple hours tonight. So Gimp, before we wrap up here, my dude, any final thoughts on any of the trades that have taken place so far? And just what are you looking for draft night tonight?
Hold on, Woj just tweeted something.
Oh boy, again?
Oh, okay. It's just saying the trade for Washington is to keep Bradley Beal in mind to open up salary cap. I call cap on that. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So, like I said, put the trades aside. There's going to be a lot of stuff that goes down tonight, and we'll get to that next week as we resume. But just from a draft standpoint, what are you looking for tonight? Top 3, I think we kind of really expected to go, Cade, Jalen Green, probably Evan Mobley 3rd.
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs is going to be in that 4-5 area. So how do you expect it to play out? And, from a Sixers perspective, if they keep the pick, I don't see any way they keep the pick. But who do you like in the later rounds? I know Trey Mann's name has been thrown out there.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Trey Mann guy.
Now, not doing it for you.
Nah, dude. I'll tell you who I am a fan of, and that's Cam Johnson. I actually quoted the tweet for this, or sorry, Cam Thomas said Cam Johnson. I'm a huge fan. He's probably going to go before the Sixers. I have him ranked in my top 10, and he's projected to go in the 20s. I'm a huge fan. Another guy I'd like them to grab is Quentin Grimes from Houston. He definitely is a prospect I think fits the mold of what they're kind of looking for. Will they probably take him? No, because I want them to take him. Trey Murphy's another guy. If Jeremiah Robinson Earl's there, I'm all in.
There ain't no shot he's there at 28, dude.
He's projected right now at 29 to Phoenix.
Really?
So, yeah. So we'll see, but it's going to be really exciting to see where some of these guys go.
Let me ask you something about him. Let me ask you something about him, because I remember when Eric Paschal was at Nova, and his body, his speed, I guess, his body type, I didn't expect to play out very well at the NBA level. Robinson Earl, loved him at Nova. He is a big body. He can stretch the floor a bit. But the game's slower. Do you think his athleticism, his speed can hold up at the NBA level?
It's
like
tough.
His game was very slowed down in Nova. Even when he's on the block, he's very dribbled. Like he was, I don't know, everything felt like slow motion.
Yeah, I think he has to play in a certain system. I think he's going to be like a huge pick and pop guy in the NBA at the 4 position, and he's a little undersized to be at the 4 in the NBA probably. Maybe not, depending on how much muscle he can put on.
Right.
He's not as like explosive as Paschal was. Like Paschal could go at your chest and throw a dunk down. Jeremiah Robinson Earl isn't really that type of guy, but he's only 6'9", like I said, and which in the NBA, actually 6'9" is probably not technically undersized. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think he can be a really good system guy. Like I said, I think he could be a piece that contributes, maybe not right away, but in a little. So we'll see.
All right. Well, guys, go enjoy the NBA draft. We are just a little over 2 hours away from it. Tap into DSM Media on Twitter at DSM_media. If anything goes down tonight, Sixers trade wise or Ben Simmons wise, there will be a live reaction emergency pod going down tonight on DSM Media's Twitter and YouTube. So stay tapped in right here. I think JD and UFO goes live at 7:30 or 8 p.m. right around draft time tonight. Right here on DSM Media. And yeah, we'll be following the draft closely, tweeting out a lot of stuff. So tap in DSM_media on Twitter. Follow, subscribe to us on YouTube, like this video, turn on notifications. Go Sixers, ring that bell, go Birds. Have a nice night, everybody.